Today, there is growing attention on the Sheriff's Department in Jacksonville, Florida, over a viral video of a violent traffic stop involving a black driver. The cell phone footage is from February, but it was just posted this past weekend. And then the body camera videos were released yesterday. Officers say they pulled over 22-year-old William McNeil for not wearing a seatbelt and not turning on his headlights during inclement weather. After McNeil said his window was broken, and an officer told him 4 times to open the door and exit or he'd shatter the glass.
There's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
Can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law up?
Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will.
Can you call your supervisor?
Huh?
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands.
Here. I'm here. What is your reason, sir?
Step out. What is your reason?
Step out now.
All right. No, don't.
Get on the ground.
Damn. They don't play. Get out. You're resisting. You're sitting in the car with a seatbelt on. He is pulled over for not having a seatbelt. He obviously had a seatbelt on. On there he did shit. I don't know. But I don't care what he got pulled over for. I mean, even if he broke the law. I didn't see where he broke the law, but shit, I can't see the whole event. But the result of the police pulling that young man out the car and beating this shit out of him. That's fucked up. How you think those police officers would feel if they knew their son was potentially going to be treated like that if he gets pulled over by the police? And there are black police officers who are aware of this. They know what their sons run the risk of happening to them at traffic stops. But in most cases, the white police don't. They don't have to think about that kind of stuff. But to be frustrated because somebody is not adhering to your verbal commands in a situation where no weapons are involved and your life is not threatened, you should not be allowed to beat somebody, damage their property by busting their window and all that. If it has to get to that level, the officers with the adrenaline flowing shouldn't be the ones to make that call. There should be some kind of a duty desk sergeant who's sitting back taking those calls. Hey, sir, we just pulled this dude over. Is he armed? No, he's just sitting in the car being a smart ass. Oh, really? Okay, guys, check it out. And give him a course of action to take that will not come up to this guy getting beat down and socked up and windows bladdered and all that stuff, where his life is going to change. That guy's never going to be the same again. When that happens to you at the hands of the police, you're never the same again. It may have happened before. Maybe you've had some unsettling encounter with the police. If you look at this encounter, this is very unsettling. And if you've experienced this before or something like this before, it would make this kind of situation happen. And again, you're not going to become more open and more friendly to police when they become more violent and negative toward you. Beating black people up in 2025, snatching them out the car and just using their frustration on this black man, letting it all out. Whatever you mad and pissed about, or just the fact that he is not completely compliant and smiling and grinning and making you feel like he's basically kissing your ass. Most black people don't feel that way when they get pulled over or when they encounter the police. They feel like they're being pulled over for bullshit to begin with, and then they got to put up with bad attitudes and all that. Now, I don't encourage anybody to respond by resisting or not following the commands of the particular officers, but who wants to just continue to get down on the ground, put their hands behind their back, completely comply only for at the end of a 20-minute harassment period, or sometime it can go 45 minutes to an hour if they get all in your car. and only to be unhandcuffed, helped up off the pavement, and returned to your driver's seat. And you're supposed to feel lucky. Whew. At least they didn't beat me up. At least they didn't take me to jail. I mean, you know, honestly, we shouldn't be praying that when we get pulled over that we make it through that traffic stop. Unless there's a traffic collision involved, any contact with the police should not be a death sentence. There's absolutely no way. What is the Congressional Black Caucus doing? What are our black congressmen and mayors and governors doing? The ones with the sanctuary cities. If you have a sanctuary for illegal immigrants, why don't you have some sanctuary city policies that you require in your city for policemen to adhere to when dealing with black men? This shit has been going on too long. It's been going on too long, and you have to do something. This illegal immigrant shit ain't been going on as long as our problem with the police, and y'all ain't figured it out yet, and you off to the next one. It needs to be fixed. We have enough black people in positions to get it done. And if Karen Bass in LA is that goddamn concerned about illegal immigrants and it being a city of immigrants, then she should be that concerned about black men being pulled over and beaten up. And any other city in the United States, big or small, that shit needs to stop. That needs to stop immediately. These guys swarm around your car, and that many police officers, because his lights weren't on and he had a seatbelt not on, according to them, the police. Seatbelt and lights. What is that all about? Unless you're assuming, he don't have his lights on. He must have a gun. He don't have his lights on. He must be high. Oh, he don't have his lights on. He's trying to get away from us. I mean, you know, just the worst. He pulled over. Check his license. See what's going on there. If no warrants, if no police agencies or courts are looking for him, give him a citation. He'll slide you his license and registration. You slide him back the ticket. He get to go home unbruised, unarrested, and pissed off because he got pulled over and got a ticket for some bullshit. But you gave him the ticket, and he's okay. Wouldn't you rather do that as a police officer? Sir, can you please crack your window if you don't feel safe? Obviously, you had good reason to not feel safe. Crack the window this much, transfer the documents, and then let the man be on his way. Racism runs deep when you can't even give a normal citizen driving down the street with his lights off the benefit of the doubt. Hey, sir, you forgot to turn your headlights on. Sir, we pulled you over to let you know you better get them headlights on. And, you know, the weather's kind of bad right now. You know, you might want to get those lights on. Have a good evening. That's reasonable. If it was an elderly white lady and you pull them over, where you going to be all busting their window and shit? And, sir, I'm scared. I'm a little nervous opening the window for you guys. You might be impersonating the police. We understand, ma'am. You just turn your lights on. Don't worry. No. And go ahead and drive. Well, you know, you have to be that way for everybody. You do. You make contact with people and they feel your energy. I don't believe that kid was completely being as cooperative as he could be, but I don't think white kids are that cooperative with police either. They got little smart ass mouths and say things and nothing happens to them. They don't get yanked through windows, punched upside the head. I mean, that kid was socked and his head went off camera view and then came back. Like, wow, that was a concussive blow. He should have a concussion. He might have memory loss. He might have headaches. And people act like it ain't no big deal. Even people who support black people and not thinking that we should be getting beaten and treated that way by the police, but they still look at it differently than other people. If there was an outbreak of Asians, just because people racially don't like them, getting beaten by police, do you know what kind of outcry that would cause? Oh my God, you're going to hurt them. They're so little and cute. What's going on? Why are you hitting them? But when it comes to us, it's like we got this superhero power status that we can take all the abuse and then some. and be okay and get up and just brush the glass out of our hair and be on our way. That's not the way it works. We're human beings too. When you don't like someone or when you don't like something, it's hard for you to have compassion or any kind of feelings for that entity, whatever it might be. And when a police officer has been through training, worked in a particular area for so long, and behaves like that, that group, small group of officers behaving like that at a traffic stop, and nobody looks deeper into their backgrounds, nobody says, let's see what we find. He got a lot of complaints. Has he, let's talk to some of his former partners. Let's see how some of this shit went with him. Let's dig deep and let the fairness come out. And if this is a good cop caught up in a bad situation, which I damn doubt, but it could be. Maybe he had a bad day. Maybe he snapped. He did, obviously, but what do you do? How do you deal with it? Is this kid supposed to just ride around and like a lottery? One day you can get pulled over by a good cop, good cop, good cop. Oh, bad cop, and bam, upside the head. We shouldn't have to live like that because that's how we have been living. It's never changed. In all these cities, in all these counties, in all these states in the United States, where a illegal immigrant has more support in this country than black people. If that was an illegal immigrant pulled over and socked and beat, it'd be on the news, but with a different twist. It would be a whole different twist because you guys are trying to prove them to be nonviolent, law-abiding citizens of the country. They're just not legal citizens, but they're citizens. And after our time here and who we have been to you and what you have done to us, we can't get a fair shake no matter what. Nobody can really say, you know what? Just like you fighting for the illegal immigrants, you use the same language. They're nonviolent, peaceful, God-loving people who just want to be left alone. How come you can say that for them and you can't say that for us? That's strange.
The officers involved are not being criminally charged, but the officer who smashed the window and punched him is suspended pending an internal review. NBC's Aaron Gilchrist is following this story for us. Also with me is Paul Butler, an MSNBC legal analyst and former federal prosecutor. Aaron, Jacksonville sheriff has released that body cam footage that he says provides context for the encounter. So walk us through it, would you?
So, Chris, we now have 4 different angles on this incident. The first video we saw over the weekend, the cell phone video from inside the car. Now the sheriff's office has released 3 pieces of body cam video. The piece that you played was from the second officer who arrived on the scene. The officer you saw on the driver's side of the car is Officer Bowers, who was the first officer. And in his body cam video, you see him in his cruiser pulling up behind Mr. McNeil and then getting out, approaching Mr. McNeil's car, at which point he opens the car door and leans out. He says that his window is broken. That's why he's opened the door. And when the officer tells him to get out of the vehicle because he's being pulled over for not having his headlights on during inclement weather, which the law says you have to do in Florida and other places around the country for that matter. And then the interaction escalates after Mr. McNeil shuts the car door, where he's told over and over again, at least 7 times, to get out of the vehicle. And then at this point, after talking with that second officer, you see the window being broken there. The punch happens that we see on the cell phone video. I want you to see a little bit of the body camera video that we've edited just so you can see the progression in the interaction here. Watch this.
Sir, this is your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window. No, he's under arrest. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
He talking about arresting me and stuff, bro. I didn't do nothing.
It's called resisting, idiot.
Called him an idiot. I'm going to tell you something. In most places of work and workplaces, no matter how frustrated you get, no matter how mad you get, you're not allowed to call the customer idiot, stupid, or any of that kind of stuff. And that's basically who the general public is, the customer. in that regard. And the police officers are there to serve. And if they're to serve you and they're calling you idiot and getting chesty and aggressive, then yeah, their police training's fucked up. If anybody in police chain of command above these guys looks at this shit and says, yeah, that's our training right there, then you got a problem. This country's fucked up. The police departments don't really have discriminatory laws against black people. If they keep the laws they got and get their personal feelings out of this shit, we'd be okay. Pull people over and treat the same fucking people the same way, whoever it is. They black, white, green, purple, green, whatever the fuck. Treat them the same. Why must you be so fucking mean when you pull over a black person? Why must you automatically go into a triggered mode of what could be, what might be, what? You could do that with everybody and you'd be beating the shit out of the country. But you couldn't get away with it. But when black people are pulled over, you can have these fantasies in your head that trigger you and get your heart rate up. If that happens, those officers should be told, stay in the car, take some deep breaths, try to get your shit under control, and call headquarters. Let them know, hey man, I'm out here tripping right now. I just pulled over this dude for no seatbelt and I'm all hyped up and sweating and shit. Can y'all send somebody out to replace me? It's, you know, I don't know what's coming over me. Every time I pull over a black person, I just break into a sweat and feel the adrenaline flow. Like it's about to be a fight. And it is. And initiated by the fucking police. That's fucked up.
Now, Mr. McNeil also indicates that he's been injured while he's handcuffed there, and you hear on one of the body cam videos, you can hear an officer calling for EMS to come to the scene there. Chris, it's important to note that the sheriff says that, again, no criminal charges are being brought here against those officers by the state's attorney. At the same time, his agency, the sheriff's office, is doing an internal review to make sure that no policies for the sheriff's office were violated by the officers involved here. He says that they're trying to do that as quickly as possible, but they've only seen that cell phone video this weekend. The sheriff said he was in church on Sunday when he was made aware of that video's existence, and he immediately started that investigation, the internal investigation, to see whether a policy was violated. And there's something that we're...
Damn, this shit happened in February, and he just was in church Sunday and found out about it and initiated who brought that to his attention? And why wasn't that brought to his attention sooner? You the chief of police for any goddamn police department, and some shit like that happened and that ain't on your desk, then what is your fucking policy? Is your policy is only if you kill them? If you beat the shit out of them? Or does it happen so often that it's like it's routine? Because any violence from a police officer to a victim, or from a citizen onto a police officer, as chief of police, I want to see that shit. And I want to see it ASAP. I don't want no fucking news reporter calling me and telling me about some shit that my officers didn't. Why are they so relaxed with, oh yeah, he just was at church. At church. I just can't take it sometimes. It makes no sense to have a big ass target on your back. Everybody knows shit's fucked up for you here in this country. They take advantage of the opportunity to report on it, to talk about it, and if they can find a way to profit from it, but they never do anything to stop it. You are seeing in real time the power of the sub-federal government. Any agency that's not attached to the federal government fighting back for these illegal immigrants, you are seeing the power when they have the will. You telling me they can't do police reform? You telling me they can't just take these fucking bad cops and just get rid of them? They can't even tell police officers, look, if this shit with the racial shit go on here, you got a black chief and he letting this shit happen in his department. I bet they be doing all kind of shit to him behind his back, and he feels weak. He feels that if he goes against those officers, the community would go against him. And he might be right. Shit. But if that's true, then he need to get the fuck out of that police department. If you can't change it, if you can't at least be man enough to get resources from wherever you need to, get the community involved, get somebody fucking to help you, so that this doesn't continue to happen under your watch. It's a bad look. And it's easy for them to take a black chief or a black mayor or black any fucking thing else and stick them in front of the camera so we can be angry at him and they can say, hey, we gave you a black chief. But it's our rules still, and he must abide by them. We know how that shit go.
We're all going to be watching, Chris. Mr. McNeil and his attorneys have indicated that they're going to sue. They have called a news conference for tomorrow where we should hear from William McNeil Jr. himself about this incident, Chris.
Thank you so much for that. So, Paul, I want to play a little bit of what the sheriff said about this.
There are things that we definitely need to look at, but the context of this video should tell you everything you need to know. You're not allowed to resist a police officer when he's doing his lawful duties. You don't deserve to get violated, but you deserve to get what's necessary to get.
Okay, then what did he get violated, or did he get what was necessary to get him out of the car? You don't deserve to be violated. His word, not mine. Is he saying the motherfucker was violated? Is that what he's saying? That's what it sounds like. It really bothers me that we get black people who are willing to really get up there and say that kind of stuff. To be policemen first and then black second. We've let them know that we're willing to do that. They bestow titles and positions on us. And then we show them how much we appreciate it by taking that title or whatever level of authority they've given us and putting it above our loyalty and our compassion for our own race of people. Let that shit sink in for a minute. It's terrible. And they find so many black people willing to do it. It's not like it's a small minority of them. It's a lot of them out there. And so many who got passed over and not selected, who are just as willing to get underneath that tent and work against their own people. This man here is obviously working against his people. He cannot say that he's advocating for that young man who was sitting in that car and that there is a possibility that race played a factor in this. And if it did, you know, there's no investigation and ain't gonna go nowhere. And then you, as a chief, come out. And it doesn't sound like you're speaking in the capacity of a neutral chief. You sound like you're talking about protecting your boys. Nobody deserves to be violated, but no one deserves to resist. We see where that's going, and we see where this is heading. They beat the dude up. He young, he black. And what think is going to happen? Yeah, they're going to be okay. And one of them just got suspended with basically a short-term vacation while they investigated. And they're going to be like, hey, you went too far with that punch, but it's not worth losing your career over. You're just going to, you lost 3 days' pay. And get back out there and you knock that off. Come on, man. You have that kind of day where you just hit a guy in the face and potentially changed his life. He may never, ever be the same again. And you guys are the same people that take weapons away from guys because they have committed a violent act with or without that weapon. And you feel like they might not be a good fit for firearms or for any kind of weapon around them. They're not convicted of nothing. If they were ever before, they served their time. But they've been labeled for life. And police officers don't even get labeled for a year. They get the gun back, they get the badge back, and they back out in the streets. I believe that police officer that socked that young kid in the face, and I'll follow it, will be okay. It's February, and here we are finding about it in July, and he ain't been fired yet. He's going to be fine. And that police chief right there might severely discipline him because there's a lot of folks looking at this. He just found out about it. Or did he?
You under control and get you and take you into custody.
What do you make of that explanation?
I think it's an excuse for what looks like excessive force for a traffic stop. So the officer did make a lawful order for Mr. McNeil to exit his car. The Supreme Court has decided cases that give cops the power to order any driver or passenger out of the car when they pull over a car.
But if the Supreme Court has ruled that way, but you're in a sanctuary city, couldn't sanctuary city policies begin to apply to black men? Or can we have our own set of sanctuary rules in these sanctuary communities? If you are willing to give sanctuary status to illegal immigrants, I declare that black people deserve sanctuary status in all of the sanctuary cities, and it should run parallel to the illegal immigrants. Pretty much identical, but there are some extra considerations that need to be taken care of with us, and they have their own problems too. It's unfortunate that we have to be covered under the same type of act this far into the future, removed from slavery, but we got to take it how we get it. And right now is a great opportunity for the sanctuary cities to show us that they ain't ignoring us, especially the ones with the black mayors. It should be a piece of cake. I'm sure if anything happens that exclusively is for us, it won't happen for long, or they'll tell us it's illegal to do, or some other shit. But these ass whoopings that are exclusively happening to us at the hands of the police, everybody cool with that though. We can have that exclusively with no complaints. Nobody else don't want no parts of that. Oh, just get that to the black guys. We don't like those ass whoopings.
Lots of people don't know that's the law. And Mr. McNeil said he felt unsafe getting out of the car. And Chris, what we see next is the opposite of de-escalation. For the cop to then bust open the window and punch Mr. McNeil in the face, and then for other officers to join in a beatdown of Mr. McNeil, that looks like police brutality. If Officer Bowers was being prosecuted, the question would be whether he acted reasonably. If Officer Bowers had gone to trial, the jury would be told that they can believe their own eyes.
So what other legal action, either involving Mr. McNeil or involving the officers, do you think is possible?
So we know that there's an administrative review where the Jacksonville police chief will have to ask the question, is Officer Bowers, that's the gentleman who busted open the window, is a person we want walking around our city with a gun and the power to make an arrest?
Or any of those other ones. I mean, if you out in a group and he didn't sock the dude in the face, he just got to it first. Had he stood there a little longer and hesitated, another one of them would have busted the window and socked the guy in the head. That was a group situation, and they need to quit trying to do the bad apple technique. That shit don't work no more. That's bullshit. If these bad apples, so to speak, were surrounded by all these good apples, why ain't the good apples stopping this shit? Why ain't the bad apples a little hesitant to act like that because they know the good apples are going to write a report or correct them and say, no, that's not what happened and we're not going to, because they full of shit. It's a little mob of angry fucking cops who are being racist, and they pull a young black kid over, and these young kids are in most cases dating their daughters, or their kids like them, or their kids are always looking at the BET Awards or black videos or listening to black music, and they hear that shit, but they love those kids. They're their kids, but they despise the culture that is starting to seep into their house, into their kids. They don't want to hear that shit, but it's nothing they can do about it. And don't bring one of them black boys home. They can't say that kind of shit no more. Their daughters know, but if you find somebody you like them, you're attracted to them, you young, you dating, I'm telling you, it's a lot of shit going on with the racial thing, and these police officers need to get off of it. If you are a fucking racist, quit. You should really quit. Most of you guys can read and write, go do something else. You white, manage a warehouse or some shit, but do not be in an area where you can harm black people, because you do it. You know it. If you're going to be in a place where black people work, quit being racist. That shit is like to the point of embarrassing for you as it is for us for allowing it to go on this goddamn long. You should be ashamed for even pushing this shit anymore. In these modern times, when you show us again and again that you know right from wrong, that you know what you should be doing, it's just not when it come to us. Everybody wants to make it as small as possible, so if a change does happen, it's small change in an isolated area. But we have a problem across the United States with this police fucking brutality, and they need to quit trying to make us believe, oh, it's just over there in Jacksonville. No, it's not. It's everywhere. It's everywhere a police officer can pull over a black person. And if a police officer is white and he pulls you over and he's polite and courteous and you feel he's respectful and does his job the right way, don't get too excited about that shit. That's what the fuck is supposed to happen. That's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to get pulled over and it ain't supposed to fuck your day up. It ain't supposed to fuck your life up. You're supposed to get pulled over and released, and hopefully when you're having dinner that evening, it has slipped your mind. It was such of a normal experience. You got a ticket, no big deal. You didn't get your life threatened. You didn't get your damage done to your property, and you were sent on your way. And you're like, oh yeah, I did. I better take care of that ticket. I mean, it's just unfair for a seatbelt and a light not being turned on in inclement weather to result in an ass whooping. They had a dude out the car beating the shit out of him. How do you justify that? Well, he wouldn't turn those lights on, and he didn't have a seatbelt on. You're going to beat his ass. Oh, my God. Is that some shit? You really think that that's what's required? And if it was a elderly white woman and you did the same thing, the exact same thing, and the police department says you're wrong, then they're racist. Because they're saying the same exact action on two different subjects results in the same ass whooping and all of that. But they say, no, she's 55, 60 years old. Why'd you guys do that? He's 22 and black. You see, it wouldn't happen to a white lady in her mid-50s or mid-40s or early 20s or late teens. It wouldn't happen to a white woman. They don't pull white women over and beat them up. The shit got to change. Somebody got to help us understand that we not delusional and we not tripping, that we really understand what's going on. It's just that they're trying to ignore our pleas, our cries, and our requests for help, because then they would add, they don't want to dignify it by giving it some time, by giving it some attention, because it would really make people who they've already said, oh, we got them, don't worry about it. No special treatment for black people because we do well with black people giving them nothing. Don't mess that up. We gonna mess it up for them. Like, comment, share. Please subscribe. See you on the next Black Pop.